You coming? Are you coming, Mila? Do you want to join us? No? No, you don't want to join me? I'll bring Flopsy. Hello, hello. Waiting for everybody to join us. I got to get a better angle here. Hello, we see two people here. I'm going to try and see if I can get Mila to join us. Mila, do you want to come sit with us if I bring Flopsy? Hello, Valerie. Hello, T-Bar, Stephen, Phyllis. Noel, yay. We've got the administrator extraordinaire. Hello, Jules, Kathy, Marie, Becky. Wandering Eyes is here. Yay. Jane, Marjorie, Sarah, Gems. Like that. Marie, Elkin, Naomi, Wendy is here. Maura is here. Maureen is here, and she's bringing pumpkins. Woohoo! Grace is Glory. Anna Werson, Cheryl, Susan Carr. My cat is over. You can't see her. She is deciding whether or not she wants to join us. Mila, you coming? You just going to give a pet of approval? Okay, well, Mila approves of what we're doing. We might be able to get her over here a little sooner. So first thing first, thanks everybody for joining us. Hi, Karen, Naomi, and I think I've already said hi to Chantel Lamont. Hello, Lamont. I like to say Lamont. First things first, what do people think about doing a slumber party on Halloween for those people who like to stay home on Halloween? Let's all get together Halloween night. You guys can you guys can just decide the time. And if we do a Halloween party, it would be like a fundraiser for me, like an immigration fundraiser. What do y'all think? To help with Sydney immigration, we could do that. Or if people say, you know, I actually would rather donate to trees, we could probably do that. Super chat for the trees. I'll let everybody decide. I donate the money from this channel to charity, but I am going to go ahead and throw it out to the group if they feel that it would be okay for some of the donations from the channel to go towards the immigration to Australia, which is what will be happening in the next few months. If you feel okay with that for your super chats and your donations, help Whimsy and Michael get together fund, then just when you do make a super chat or a donation, just say for Michael and Whimsy. If you want it to go to trees or to charity, that's absolutely fine. That's what we do here. Then just say for the trees. So absolutely, yes, keep offering the super chats. If you can afford to do that, we appreciate it. And I'll let you decide where you want the super chats to go. But gratitude to everybody who does donate. And yeah, so that's what's going on. My goal is to be in Sydney by spring. Yeah, that's what's going on. People had asked me to do a couple remote viewings on what is going on. We have a lot of crazy fires happening here. The Getty is back on fire. That's not too close to me, but it is LA, so we are getting a lot of smoke. Unfortunately, it is fire season, and Love Fund. Oh, I like that. Thank you, Patricia. Very nice. So I guess we'll call it the Michael and Whimsy's Love Fund. Thank you for Patricia Rodriguez for the donation. I know that Michael is busy. He is working night and day coming up with creative, artistic projects to raise funds for immigration, and I think that's very sweet of him. So going back to the fires, they're pretty bad. The winds so far in LA have not been as crazy as I imagine they're going to get. But unfortunately, the winds are here. The Santa Anas are probably stronger than we've ever seen them. And so it's pretty poor air quality right now. So We just have to keep doing our best to conserve water, uh, plant trees, and yeah, there's really not much else we can do. Ooh, I like the pumpkins, Implish. So the first thing that people had asked me to look into, there's a couple things I remote viewed last night. I want to talk a little bit about that. The first thing I did with the remote viewing is I just wanted to check on the Roger Stone case. So that was the first remote viewing I did last night, how it was progressing, whether or not it was, whether or not the recent activities in the White House, the impeachment, et cetera, were having any impact on. Oh, Maura, thank you. Love fun. Thank you, guys. That's so sweet. Oh my God. I'm going to tell Michael. It's very sweet of him, of you all. So when I go into the remote viewing and just scan the Roger Stone case, I see a big file of documents. It's like I see a big stack of documents. The feeling I have when I go into this energy is that it is a very ironclad, solid case. And there's a lot that the American media doesn't know about, but it feels like there was a very long relationship between Russian expats and certain people of interest. We've talked about this before. And they had established business relations for the purpose of helping Russia have inroads politically, financially, et cetera, in those countries. So one of the purposes of these individuals was to basically help establish business in those areas. So one of the countries that's been active in that is China. China, as you know, has been working on creating new trade routes in areas that had been previously blocked by NATO, and also by some of the Arab countries. There were embargoes. They were attempting to block certain types of trade. Behind Russia, when I do a remote and I see Russia coming in and attempting to basically lay the groundwork of establishing security in those areas, Iran, Syria, Iraq now, Libya, etc. The purpose of the military work that I see Russia doing is, and with the Turks as well, is to simply plow through, stabilize the area so that they can begin building infrastructure, pushing forward. And I see China right behind them. So what that looks like is that Turkey and Russia working together, pushing back hostile armies like ISIS. They're going to push through, they're going to do the cleanup work. And then after that, China is going to come in and push and clean up the rest and start pushing in infrastructure. Whether or not people think it's good, whether or not people think it's bad that these new trade routes are being created, whether or not people are worried about it, depends on who you speak to. But that is what it looks like in the remote viewings. And that is what it looks like in relationship to people like Donald Trump. You had just a lot of people in the business world that were making these kinds of deals because it was good business for them, starting with Murdoch. So Murdoch has been under criminal investigation by the FBI and by intelligence agencies, Great Britain, etc., because he's been doing business with Russia, business with China, and using his media platforms to push an agenda that ultimately would basically help those countries create those new inroads. Whether if it can be traced back to money or investments, etc., I haven't gone that far, but it does look like they are zeroing in more on Murdoch, and they are zeroing in more on Fox News and these media outlets that are politicized or seem to be helping with political parties. And we're going to be seeing more. Justice is slow, but justice is happening. We're going to be seeing people from Fox News, as I said before, probably being subpoenaed. And a lot of what I see with Murdoch isn't just Russia, but China. So I think we're going to see a lot more of that. How Fox News fares, if it just feels to me like the feds are going to go in, they're going to police certain things, there's going to be subpoenas. And I think that there were whistleblowers within Fox. It doesn't surprise me that somebody like Shepard Smith left, because I feel like the stuff is going to hit the fan pretty soon. People had also asked if I could throw on Benghazi. So or not Benghazi, I apologize. Throw on, what was the name of the guy that got assassinated? Blah, 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 blah. What was his name? The guy from, I can go ahead and do that. But yes, hi, Mila. Do you want to go outside? Don't you want to hang out with us? Baghdadi. See, I said Baghdadi. So people wanted me to go ahead and throw cards on Baghdadi. I did try to remote view that, and I couldn't hear anything when I went in and tried to do an energetic replay. Oh, thank you, Day Ridley. Just let me know where you want the money to go to. When I went into the tunnel, when I tried to remote the area, it was so loud, and also the sounds were so muffled. When I went in, I couldn't hear anything other than the noise of going in. So I know that the president had said he had heard whimpering or this sort of thing. When I went in energetically, I couldn't hear anything other than a lot of noise, and it was very, very loud when they went in. So who knows? But that's what I heard. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and throw cards for the general for the week. And hi, Ian, how are you? And we'll just see what we see. Mila, you don't want to join us? Come on. Come on. Let's go. Come on. No? We'll go outside, or you want to stay here? I think she wants to go outside. All right. Please read on Bernie. Okay. The Baghdadi thing doesn't pass the smell test. Interesting. Okay, so let's do a simple prayer. We'll go in and we will see what we see. It's good to see everybody. I was under the weather for about a week, and now I'm finally feeling better. I see Mila wanting to go outside. Why don't you come sit with us instead? No? Hold on a second. Sorry, people. Mila! There you go. You can here with us. Nope. Oh, well, maybe not. Let's do a simple prayer and we'll see what happens. All right, I want to call on white light protection for myself and my viewers as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower our viewers so that they can make the best decisions for themselves, for the people they love, and for the planet. And with that, I say, amen. Let's go in. I am going to have to let her outside. I apologize. All right, Mila, you win. All right. Sorry about that, people. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. What is the week going to be like? The main takeaway from last night's remote is that these cases are going forward, that the people involved in the cases that are going forward are extremely well-trained prosecutors, extremely well-trained investigators. And they're not getting into this from a political perspective. This is simply a long-term criminal investigation into international money laundering, etc. And those people that were involved in it, they have some pretty ironclad evidence against them. I still see Roger Stone writing a book. It was interesting to remote view Roger Stone recently, a couple of days ago, in the sense that what was fascinating about energetically going into Roger Stone's energy was that he was very theatrical. When you go into his energy, he loves the theater, he loves musicals, he loves a good show. And what you really felt when you went into his energy was this person that was capable of putting on a Broadway performance. Like he was somebody who wanted to use that formula in order to create. It's almost as if he ran these campaigns and these rallies like musicals. Building up to a crescendo, and then the star comes out, and thank you, Jody, the Aussie Love Fund. You're very kind. That's very gracious of you. Thank you. Yeah, so that was kind of interesting. I had never thought about it like that, that he had literally taken his love of theater and entertainment and musicals and drama, and he had structured these campaigns like that so that when the person went to the rally, it was like going to a ball game or a form of entertainment where it had a build-up with music, also like a concert. It almost felt like it had a concert feel to it. All right, what is the week going to be like? Adam Schiff is coming in pretty heavily for this week. He's being threatened, and he's also being threatened privately by lawsuits. So when I go into Schiff's energy and I remote view him using the heart-centered technique, I connect my heart to his. I'm feeling, when I sit in that energy, that people are coming at me and trying to get me with personal lawsuits and attacking me. And it's making me angry and irritated, but I'm also documenting and reporting it. So unbeknown to the public, Adam Schiff is getting personal attacks. There are almost like gremlins coming after him. It's like a feeling like other people are coming after him privately, and he's also receiving things in the mail that are a little bit scary. Some of it's silly, but some of it's actually scary. And all of that, a lot of that hasn't made its way to the press. Similar stuff is happening with Nancy Pelosi, but there's a further distance between her and the attacks. For whatever reason, I don't know what that is. It's like she has a whole team of people that protect her and her security, so that a lot of that stuff never makes its way to Nancy Pelosi. Where we are at right now, we're in the middle of a transformation. You can see Death card coming as the base of the matter, and Three of Pentacles, a new contract or new foundation coming in. We are now beginning the trials. The trials are starting in November. And this is some of the energy that I've been picking up on. It's that energy or that feeling that we are now entering the actual, there's been a lot of drama, there's been a lot of politics, a lot of trying to get people excited about Trump's 2020 campaign, a lot of misinformation going out. But the actual academics of these court cases seem to be very, very, they're ready to go. That's basically how to describe it. They're ready to go, and now they will begin the meticulous path of legally going through prosecution. The wish card comes to us. I can't stress it enough to describe what the energy feels like when I sit in the energy of November. This is the remote viewing technique that I taught a couple months ago, and I'd like to review it again for people who are in training to be remote viewers. And that is that you put yourself in your meditative state, you concentrate or meditate on the energy of the question that you're looking at, and then I want you to go ahead and just scan, for those of you who are students, to just scan the month of November. And then if you're doing that, if you're in your heart, and if you are meditating on the country or meditating on these cases that are coming up, I want you to just check in with how your heart feels as it's open to taking in the energy of the calendar. And what we see is, in my case, what I'm picking up is that things begin to pick up around November 11th. That seems to be the turning point. Go ahead and open up your calendar if you want to for November, those of you who are remote viewers and remote viewers in training. And let me just get a feel from other remote viewers in the community what you're picking up. But I'm picking up energy shifts. It seems to be low, and then we see it rising around November 10th and 11th. What's crossing us, you can see the police or the courts or quick, and it's also a wind card. Again, we see the air card, air signs being wind. He's like the wind. We get our wish and things start to happen or accelerate really, really quickly in November. What is everybody else getting November 11th also? Yeah, I wonder what that's about. Yeah, the more people that can do that technique, just, I don't know how quickly it takes people to go into their remote state. But yeah, let me just hear from the other remote viewers here what you're picking up. But looks like most of us are getting the 11s. 11, Nancy? Okay. Same with Jody. Love peace as well. Yeah, something going on. You can see here there is a card that indicates delay or an attempt to stop or slow down this process. This is something else that has been coming up in my remote views, is this desperate attempt to slow it down by the Trump administration, just like they tried to slow down request to see his tax returns until the actual election took place. Oh yeah, we're going to do it tomorrow. It's going to happen tomorrow. Those types of delay tactics are probably not going to work this time. And one of the reasons why, when you go into the remote, is that the documents have already been leaked. You can see a 2 of Pentacles or funny money back and forth, money changing hands. I feel like the documents are already in the hands of prosecutors. So I don't know if these delay tactics are going to be able to protect him after mid-November. Joel also getting 11th. Okay. And we can see some kind of offer or partnership begins to take place. What's interesting about this new energy in November, take a look at this. For those of you who are reading the cards, you can see an offer comes here in the past. It's already happened. There's already been negotiations of offer and a new partnership coming in slow and steady. I'm going to go ahead and predict that we're going to start seeing more Republicans jumping ship in November and more Republicans moving on the side of this impeachment. Leslie got 11 as well. Wow, so everybody's kind of in agreement. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays itself out. Yeah, just those people learning, yeah, just go ahead and open up the calendar and just center yourself and just breathe and just take a look at the calendar and tell me what you get. I know you can do it. I have faith in you. A new beginning. So November starts a new beginning in this process. It's really the beginning of the legal part or the legal aspects moving towards these prosecutions and towards the federal government presenting its case. I also want to say that in last night's remote, I was really fascinated with how the FBI, CIA, etc. is organized, because it seems to be organized in such a way that no one can stop an investigation. Everything is it's almost like everything is compartmentalized in some type of time capsule. It's hidden numerologically, and then it's buried. So even if you don't even know where it's buried, it's this bizarre system inside the intelligence agencies where things get buried in such a way that even higher ups will not be able to stop those investigations. So I thought that was kind of an exciting remote to see about the intelligence agencies. Even Barr will not be able to stop this investigation. But I really like this November energy of a new beginning, the prosecutions, the trials going forward, and it begins, the craziness is coming to an end, even though there's these attempts to stop it. And instead, this is a time of facts, trials, real judges, real cases, real prosecutors, and a new relationship or a new partnership with a group of people that may have not been on board in the past. In fact, it's already happened. It's already started to happen. I keep seeing the same thing, that this process starts officially in November, and it's going to continue on until spring of 2020. What's really exciting about this energy that we're going into is that the final outcome is the Empress card. And the Empress, I always think of it as like a treasure trove. It's as if you open up this box and all these jewels come out, all this information comes out. So what's exciting about between November and spring of 2020 is the amount of information that was buried by Mueller, the FBI, and the intelligence agencies that will now be able to begin to look at starting basically next week, I would assume. The main point of the case with Roger Stone and the people involved appears to be that they're going to start on the premise that people were looking for money, or people were looking for back doors to make money and basically defraud the federal government. We can see the Two of Pentacles marinating or juggling funds, the King of Pentacles moving in with the Magician card in the 8th house, which I'm assuming is the feds. It feels when you go into the remote or when you go into the energy that what the case of the feds is that this deal took place. These deals take place. They were motivated by greed, not by any kind of loyalty to the country, and it was just simply pure greed. It was for monetary gain, and it was an attempt to bypass or deceive the feds. That's basically, as it looks in these cards, hidden money. There was nothing going on with these dealings that have anything to do with love of country, patriotism, really trying to create peace with Russia and China. There's none of that is in these cards. There's no cards that I would associate with anything noble. It's really cards that would denote that, and the argument of the feds is that it was purely greed. That's basically their case. And they built their case on that, and that is what they're going to present, that they defrauded the feds, didn't want to pay their taxes, and engaged in these schemes with questionable people and made deals that threatened America's security purely to make a buck. That's basically appears to be the argument of prosecution, and they will probably win. But what's fascinating about this reading is that the outcome was the Empress, which suggests that there is a lot of facts and information and files that are coming out in November. That's what I see. Wow, wow, wow. So, it's just going to be reams and reams of documents. I just see stacks and stacks of documents and facts and information. Did everybody get November 11th? Everybody did, right? All right, very cool. So now Baghdadi, Baghdadi, I don't know. Let's go ahead and look at the raid. I couldn't hear individual voices at all when I tried to go into that. All right. What happened with the raid in Syria? They had known for a couple of days that here's what it looks like to me. It looks like about 48. They had some notice that this was possibly going to happen. There was some kind of a tip-off that happened 48 hours before, and it looks like people on the ground gave them up. So there were informants on the ground that were paid that had been taking money. American soldiers and people that were involved in the investigation had befriended local people who had paid information and had risked their lives in order to show where these areas were at. And they had gotten permission to go in and clean out what they called rat's nest, or what felt like there were pockets or nests of people hiding in certain areas. And the idea, this is me going into the remote, is that these nests existed all over in this area, and they were going to lay low until the Americans came leave, and then they were going to attempt to come back up again. That's what it looks like. And what happened was that local informants and people who had been working with the military came and reported where these hiding nests were. And it looks like there are several, it's not just one. And that is what they're trying to root out. It looks like they have done these types of operations in the past. And it's the hardest part of the operation. So they pushed people out. I don't know anything about the military. I've never served. If you were military, go ahead and tell me what I'm seeing. So what happened was they bombed, they hit the area, and then the soldiers went in and attempted to clear out the area. And then they coordinated the operation to go in and individually take out these nests. Let's go in. 11/14. Okay, thank you, Sort of Faith. So let's just go ahead and put it on the back burner. People can write it down. Hi, Brenda. And let's just see what happens on those dates. Again, the wish card comes up. There was an alliance or assistance from other people in the area. They did have permission to fly into the area or to go into a certain area. And the main concern was that they wanted to prevent people in the operation from being harmed. You can see the tower. They were trying to do everything in their power to prevent against the worst case scenario. Unfortunately, it's not over. There's more nests or more people, ISIS fighters, and there's more that's going to happen. You can see the Three of Swords moving in. They got lucky in terms of the fact that no lives were lost. I'm concerned with this Three of Swords coming in that more of these types of activities are going to happen, and we could see things start to get a little bit rougher. Oh, Kelly got 11/14. Okay. Celebrations now. We paid informants. Basically, we offered cover, protection, and aid to people who were informants, and that is how we caught them. And there's at least 4 or 5 more major hits that are coming. and they want to establish a new treaty or new contract in the area, but they also want to create independence so that the people can monitor themselves with the Three of Pentacles moving in. Yeah, I think they hit him, but it's not the end of the story. I think there's going to be more of these. They feel like rat nests that they have to go in. It's very dangerous. The same thing happened in Vietnam. It's very, very dangerous for the soldiers and the people that are attempting to do that type of work. And unfortunately, I see more of these types of maneuvers happening. All right. So people had asked me if I could look at Kushner. I didn't get a chance to, I don't think I did Kushner last time, and also to find out if Kushner was involved with some of the new information that's getting leaked about the administration, and to find out who wrote Anonymous. When I tried to go into the remote on who wrote Anonymous, I didn't feel like one person had written it. I felt like in order to protect the informants, a group of people or more than one person was anonymous. It wasn't one person. It was the voice of several people calling themselves anonymous. So that was the first thing I got. The second thing that I got when I went into the energy was just how many people had what Mike Pence had called insurance policies. Before they knew that this administration was going to have problems, and so they took out what they call insurance policies. Well, thanks, Maureen. Very sweet of you. So those insurance policies, seem to be some kind of legal way of protecting themselves. They can't be prosecuted, they can't be fired, they can't be harassed for agreeing before they went in to report anything to the feds, and possibly wearing a wire. I know that Kelly was one of the people that was, oops, sorry, let me turn this off. Sorry about that. I know that Kelly was one of the people to ask to wear a wire. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Kellyanne, but Kellyanne wasn't the main person that they were targeting. Kushner might have been asked, but I don't think so. It's possible, though. Yeah, I don't think Anonymous is one person. I think it's multiple people in the administration. It looks like they spoke to several people, and they created the stories in such a way so that it couldn't be directed towards one individual. You can see here. It does have an impact. It does have an impact. But I'm just not feeling that this is, it just feels to me like it's more than one person, and that some of those people may have to leave, or Bannon, by the way, may be one of these people. Yeah, it was a group of, it looks like it was a group of 3 or 4 people that came together and decided that they were going to cooperate with a ghostwriter, and in a way that protected their identities. They basically wrote the book. Okay, interesting. Will Hillary Clinton run again? That's an interesting question. Yeah, it's possible that it was people from Pence's office, the people that resigned, like Pence's chief, was it Pence's chief assistant? I just want to go in because people had asked me to look at the Kushners, and I want to just see how they're doing. I'm trying to speak a bit loudly because last time people said they had trouble hearing me. What's going on with the Kushners? The Kushners. All right, the Kushners, where they're at right now. Negotiations, inheritance, strong. Something's going on. When you go into the energy of Ivanka and Jared, there's a feeling that they have found themselves entrapped in a situation that they can't get out of. And it's most likely this relationship with the Trump administration. Yeah, there he is. There's Trump. So they are so deeply embedded legally with this administration, it's going to be very difficult for them to protect themselves or untie themselves. If this boat goes down, there's a very good likelihood that they're going down with it. Strong relationship with inheritance or strong relationship with one's family karma. They're trying to get out of this. Confusion, trying to get out of this, not getting straight answers. Trump talks to them. There's no possibility of a deal, no possibility of resignation. By being non-cooperative, that is Trump's delay tactics, and not being non-cooperative is his technique for getting out of this. He doesn't feel he has to make any decision. He simply walks away, refuses to cooperate, and delays until nothing comes of it. That is his tactic. I keep seeing this. Walking away, the Kushners walking away and making a deal. And I keep seeing this, that they've already considered or engaged in some kind of an activity that looks like cooperation. Cooperation. Something's going on with Kushner's family. Not his wife, but his parentage or his father's family or father. There's something going on there. I'm picking up something about possibly a health problem or something like that. Hopes and fears, the judgment. He's going to cooperate. He's going to hand everything over. That's what I think. Yeah, because you can see here working. This is a card of mastery, and then the Knight of Cups comes in. Hopes and fears, the judgment, Page of Pentacles. It had something to do with money here. Hierophant, the ethos, the Constitution, putting it behind. Yeah, I think he's tried to talk to his father about this. I think his father-in-law about it. I think his father-in-law has not been cooperative and is only using delay tactics. And I think it's created a rift between Kushner and Donald Trump because Kushner wants him to make a decision and he refuses to do so. At that point, there's going to possibly be a split between Jared Kushner and Trump where they are both going to create their own deals because they're not going to stay together. Kushner was pressuring Trump to decide something, whether it was a deal. He refused. He's delaying. And when you go into Kushner and Ivanka's energy, they're splitting and they're making their own deal. That's the best way for me to interpret this. Yeesh. I thought my family had problems. All right. The warning and its anonymous author. Yeah, I think it's more than one author. And I think it was the testimonies of multiple people cooperating, and it was put together with a ghostwriter. That appears to be what it was. No, Trump cannot pardon his children. And even if he did, they would still be subpoenaed. And if they refused to subpoena, they would be in legal trouble. Hi, Michelle. Good to see you. We took your advice, Michelle. We're doing fundraising for immigration. So do people want to do, what do people think? Is anybody going to show up to my slumber party if I do a slumber party Halloween night to raise money for immigration? Would people want to do that? And if so, what would you like to do? Should I wear a costume? You see me as a witch? Clown? Should we decorate Mila? Should Mila be in costume? What do y'all think? Michelle's going to be there. Woohoo! Noelle, yes. So let me know what costumes you think would look good. I think that I'd like to put Mila in some kind of a costume. She doesn't always like costumes, but she looks really cute in them. All right, so I want to go ahead and do some stuff on Brexit. Every time I go into Brexit, I hit, it's weird going into Brexit because I'm not British and I don't know a lot about British politics, but there are these really ancient, it looks like these ancient laws and treaties that are on the books. Maybe some of the Brits could explain this to me. And every time they try to work out a Brexit, they come against these treaties and these laws that go back hundreds of years between England and Scotland and Wales. And it's so that's why it just feels like the two cannot coexist. You can't have, you would first have to dissolve the union. You would first have to go in and dissolve the existing relationship. This is what it feels like to me, between Scotland and England, Northern Ireland. And then once you dissolve that, then you can create Brexit. But you can't do both at the same time. Am I right? I don't know. But that's what it looks like energetically. It looks like every time you go into Brexit, there are these, it's like they're dusting off laws and saying there's this law from, 1748, like it just, and there's a lot of laws too. There's a lot of laws regarding, it looked like trade and all kinds of things. Levin Igor mask. Oh, I like that. Well, Rachel Maddow is at 6 p.m. my time and 9 p.m. there. So I'm thinking what, 7 p.m. October 31st, my time, which would be 11 p.m. Or we could do it early so that the people in Britain can join us. I don't know. All right, we're going to do another throw on Brexit. Looks like they were given another delay of 3 months by the EU. Let's take a look. They've inherited stress. Look at that. There's a stress or, sorry about that. They've inherited strife. Look at that. 10 of Wands and rebellion. Look, again, the wish card. That's 3 out of 3. What are the odds? Some kind of deal, a money deal. So either, yes, they finally come up with some way of creating it. This looks like they might get a deal. They might be able to pull something off. But people are exhausted. Look at that. Take a look at these cards. To move on or try to get out of the situation, 10 of Swords, physical exhaustion. Past placement, the relationship with the world. Near future, 6 of more offers. Ace of Swords. They might be able to negotiate some kind of a soft Brexit. Hopes and fears, the union, and then the final outcome, a new contract. They may get a deal, but it looks like it could be a soft Brexit. Yeah, they're really working at it. Wanting to walk away. Hopes and fears, going it alone. Final outcome, 6 of Pentacles. It's almost like they pay their way out of it. It's almost like some kind of an incentive to make this happen, but it's not the aggressive Brexit they started with. This is the most benign. If they do get a Brexit, it's very gentle and benign. And there may be financial compensation of some type or some kind of negotiation with Northern Ireland and Scotland that has a monetary aspect to it. I just want to throw to see if they're going to vote to, again, if they're going to do another referendum, if they're going to vote to, I just want to see if they're going to vote again to remain or leave, because there's mixed feelings about whether or not they should. Will there be another vote on Brexit? There be another vote on Brexit. Another vote on Brexit. Okay, this is on the vote, whether or not it's going to happen. They don't think it'll pass. There's a possibility that if they vote to remain, it's possible that people will vote to remain, but it'll be it's again back where they started from. It's hit or miss. People that wanted Brexit are really strongly fighting. It feels like 7 of Wands is to defend one's territory against the outside. Oh, Maryland's getting 11-15. Oh, it's going to be such an interesting November. And Debbie's getting 11-11. Confusion. So the main thing I feel when I go into this energy is that the people of Great Britain who wanted this referendum feel that they're being manipulated, played, lied to, deceived. They're not getting what they wanted. They're confused. They're defending. They say that Britain, it feels like Britain is not honoring the will of the people. There's a huge fight happening with the Brexit people. That's the main thing. What is above? Grief. Can everybody see this? Look at this, grief and confusion. Walking away. Huh, you see this? It's like the Constitution in the United States. It's the laws that govern the country. 6 of Pentacles coming in. You see this? This is why I think it's a soft Brexit, because I keep getting this energy that of an offer to pay or some kind of financial incentive to agree to a soft Brexit. I know nothing about this, so people from England or Great Britain want to explain it to me. Everybody's holding on, like everybody's holding on to their position. I think people still will vote leave. It's not going to be a hard Brexit, but they might get a soft Brexit. Yeah. God, but there's so many problems. Look at this. They're trying to go into leave with smooth waters, but look at this 3 of Swords. Trying to leave, holding on to their position. It looks like leave is starting to gain speed again energetically. God, this could go on for a long time. The only solution, if there is a solution, would be a soft Brexit. That's what I see. Okay, I think we have time for 11:11. I think we have time for one. When is my birthday? I think I have time for one more question. If people want to ask one more question before we close out today. Okay. Let me read some of these. Interesting. Trump, do you guys want to check on Trump? There's a lot of questions about Trump. All right, let's look at Donald Trump, how he's doing. And then we'll close it up. All right, how is Trump doing? What is he up to? Their only tactic right now feels like delay, 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 never cooperate, ignore people. It's a very passive aggressive way to handle a problem. Ignore it until the person gives up. That seems to be his tactic. The law and strife. Boundaries and strife. In plainer words, the fact that somebody is coming in and telling him no, the fact that somebody is saying, no, Mr. President, you're going to have boundaries, Pelosi, is the main issue for him. This is the person who says my space or establishes boundaries, and this is strife. He's definitely got his legal team. His legal team is frantically working to create some kind of case. This is probably the stuff that Barr is working on. They think that they're going to reveal there's something coming up that we're going to see, which is an attempt to show they think that they're going to expose something that is going to help his case. And it has something to do with the international community. He feels tied in knots. I think he's in a lot of trouble because the 8th house, the opposition, has the Ace of Swords. Oh gosh, look at this, triple aces. He's being offered a deal again. Hopes and fears the deal. Magician card, power, business. Look at this. He wants to avoid prison. He wants to avoid being cornered. A lot of these cards describe images of space or feeling cornered or fighting to take over space, arguments about space, arguments about boundaries. I think he's going to try a delay tactic. I think it's going to give him 2 to 3 weeks. It feels like it's going to be 2 to 3 weeks of delay tactics. I don't think it's going to help him. I think by November 11th, the energy starts to change. And I think that what he's doing here is an attempt to muddy the waters or delay the inevitable. But I think October was a pivotal month for this president. And I think we're going to really start seeing a lot of stuff coming out in November. That's it. That is what I see. Thank you, everybody who participated, and thank you, everyone who was kind enough to donate to Super Chat for my beloved and myself. I know that Michael is hard at work every night creating new artistic, beautiful things to inspire others and to raise money for immigration. If anybody is still trying to get in for a reading and you trying to save on the old price, I'm not going to be raising my rates until November 1st. If you make an appointment now, but it's for after November 1st, I will still honor the old price. So just wanted to let everybody know that. Thank you, everyone. Your love and support means a lot to me. I love doing this channel, and I hope that everybody had a good time. And I'll see everybody October 31st, 7 p.m., I think. Is that what we decided? Just let me know what time you want. It's going to be my time, 7 p.m. Does that work for everybody? And yeah, we'll be in costume and we'll bring snacks and treats and we'll have 7 p.m. Michelle, okay. We'll have snacks and treats and we'll do funny, silly games. And yeah, thanks a lot, everyone. God bless. And I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye. Bye. Bye, Michelle. Bye, Noelle. Bye, Ian. Bye.